All right, the No Kings protests are back this weekend, and the Trump administration is both trying to project strength, but they are really terrified that these are going to be huge. Authoritarians don't like public displays of displeasure with what they are doing, and they will go to the ends of the earth to try to either prevent those protests from being public or from happening altogether if they can. Donald Trump is panicking about it. He said yesterday in the Oval Office, with a very confused looking Kash Patel standing over his right shoulder, they have their day coming up, but nobody is really going to be there. Nobody is really going to be there. And of course, what Trump means is, I hope nobody goes.
Stupid move. And they don't want to talk about it. You know, they have their day coming up. I hear very few people are going to be there, by the way. But they have their day coming up, and they want to have their day in the sun. But they should really make a deal. So what we're doing, I mean, they call him Darth Vader, but he's actually a very nice person, Russell Vogt. But Russell Vogt is really terminating tremendous numbers of Democrat.
Yeah, he's doing all sorts of termination. For an administration that claims not to be worried about the No Kings protests, they are spending a lot of time, and their media friends are spending a lot of time saying, oh, nobody's really going to go to this thing. Now, the truth is that we could see record turnout here. We're going to talk about the 3.5% concept in a moment, and they are recruiting their media allies to try to convince people to stay home. Here is Sean Hannity after interviewing the Prince of Darkness, Stephen Miller. Here's Hannity doing his part to help the regime, saying, stay away from these rallies. It's not a good idea. It's just stay home. It'll be much better at home.
Stephen Miller is with us. You know, I want to give some unsolicited advice because I love the people in this country. And in cities and towns around this country, they're going to have these No Kings rally. And to me, it has all the feel of the environment in the summer of 2020. You know, the mostly peaceful riots where, you know, a couple of dozen dead Americans, thousands of injured cops, billions in property damage. I would advise people, again, unsolicited, find out if there's a rally near where you are and stay away. I would hate to see innocent people hurt.
Yep. Stay away. Definitely don't go. Don't make the protests big. Don't do any of that. That's what we're hearing from the same network, Fox News, that spent years glorifying the patriots who stormed the Capitol. Now they say, stay home, keep it calm, keep it low key. They're scared. Now, Hannity is sort of giving away the game when he goes, if you want to understand what the No Kings #2 protests will be like on Saturday, think back to 2020. But you don't need to do that. If Hannity were honest, Hannity would say, hey, you can think back to a few months ago, the first No Kings protests, which were completely peaceful. If we want an assessment about how we expect No Kings #2 to go, we would say, well, how did No Kings #1 go? And it was completely peaceful, and they hate that. They rioted on January 6th, and on No Kings Day 1, we were completely peaceful. I stopped by a bunch of these different events. There was a police presence. The police didn't need to get involved. Now, can you find some anecdotal incident from some chapter protest? Probably, right? But these were almost completely, and I would argue, overwhelmingly peaceful protests. They know that massive peaceful protests destroy their narrative. And they show the country that we aren't as defeated as Trump wants us to be. They are scared for good reason, because when we look at history, remember the 3.5% concept. It is believed that it takes about 3.5% of a population actively, peacefully protesting, refusing to go along with what the regime is doing to affect change. 3.5%. In the United States, based on our population, that's about 12 million people. 12 million people showing up, marching, speaking out. No violence, no chaos, just visible and clear. We didn't quite get to those numbers in No Kings #1, but the numbers were big and it got a ton of coverage. They know that if the turnout is a little bit bigger this time than it was last time, we are going to start getting, for them, dangerously close to that 3.5%. So Trump is insisting the protests are going to be small. Sean Hannity is saying to people, stay away. because if even a fraction of this country actually shows up, it won't just be a protest, it could actually be a turning point. And that is what really terrifies these people. It is not only Stephen Miller saying stay away, agreeing with Sean Hannity. It is not only Hannity himself saying stay away. It is not only Donald Trump saying these are going to be small. Even people who have no business talking about this stuff, like Trump's Treasury Secretary, are talking about the protests. I want to talk about that next. A pending Supreme Court case could strip our Fourth Amendment rights and allow immigration agents to come into our homes for any reason, no probable cause needed, all while Republicans try to twist things so that you think this is all great for America. This should be the biggest story in the US right now, but it's almost impossible to keep up with the millions of moves that Trump is making every single day. That's why Ground News exists. Ground News is an app and website that exposes the blind spots and spin before it takes control of our opinions. Ground News is the smarter, more reliable way to stay informed when MAGA is banking on us getting distracted. I'm partnering up with Ground News to give you 40% off the same Vantage plan that I use. So you'll pay only $5 a month for all of their premium features. Just go to ground.news/Pakman or use the code Pakman in the app when you sign up. The link is in the description or scan the QR code.